listening to the Kelly Slusher Show with your host, Kelly Slusher. Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome to the Kelly Slusher Show, episode 22. Hurrah! I have a very special guest. This is my first guest that I've had ever. And I did an interview with my brother, and I just want to let you know the audio is a little bit strange. We had some technical difficulties even getting it going for like all these programs weren't working. But anyway, I just want to give you a heads up. It's not my normal quality because it was, I don't know what was going on. But when I listened to the replay, I was like, oh, I'm going to use this anyway. So anyway, here we go. The interview with Kody Slusher. This is a very special episode. My first ever guest. It's one of my favorite persons in all of the world. My brother, Kody.
Hello.
Kody Slusher. Say hello.
Hello,
Kody.
everybody.
So all of our family has met in Arizona. Cody lives in Colorado. I live in California. We are coming at you not so live from sunny Mesa, Arizona, in basically the armpit, worst part. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Not so pretty Mesa, East Mesa, I would say, but yeah. So
And nothing has changed.
nothing.
It's all the same.
Do you think it's gotten worse?
It's a concrete jungle, basically. That's all it is. I
And-
mean, it's not like people come out to Arizona thinking they're going to get like the desert treatment and everything, and you don't really get
No.
the desert treatment
No.
until you go out of the city.
Yeah, it's the best parts are really out of the metropolitan area, and it's just basically expanding, and now it's not very interesting. And so you left, you escaped, I escaped. Thank God Kim, our sister's here, because our mom and dad, they live in.
Against all odds, I made it to Colorado. We ended up breaking down in Lyman, Colorado, and ended up having to walk for 2 hours on the side of the highway.
Oh yeah, that's right. So this is when you were moving, you and your ex.
My ex.
Now ex.
Now ex, yeah.
You were moving from Arizona to Colorado.
Yeah.
That was kind of her family was there? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So where were you at? You were on some highway and there was middle of nowhere. Basically.
Middle of nowhere, and like this is a long time ago. This is 2001, so like cell phones weren't really an option.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
like,
It was way back in the day.
Yeah. So someone ended up seeing me and called a police officer, and they had a phone. So, but I finally got picked up. But it was almost like, is this Colorado telling me I'm not welcome?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no, and the thing that when you told me that story last night, I'm like, you guys you left two cats.
yeah, we had our cats.
And was she your wife at the time?
And not yet.
Okay,
no.
so your girlfriend.
Yeah.
You leave her and you're like, well, this is like a movie. You're like, well, I guess the only thing I can do is just walk into town. That was, 2 hours away by car.
Yep.
So, wow, that's courageous, man. So you walked for how long?
Like 2.5 hours.
You walked 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Like,
my gosh.
But I was definitely off the highway. So I was like kind of like in the grass area. So the whole time I'm sitting there hoping and praying. I'm like, please don't weather on me.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me stranded out here like this.
Oh man. Did you have water?
No.
Oh man,
No,
Kody.
we were terribly.
That just sounds like I'm so glad that you made it.
I know, me too.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got so many good stories. Like, I don't know if this is kind of like, it's kind of an improv. We had some audio difficulties. And so we were just for about 40 minutes here. We're just trying to make this work. I mean, there's no reason, but we had latency problems. If you guys know what that is, it's really annoying when you're trying to record and it just delays everything you say. And it's like, okay, that ain't going to work. So we threw our headphones off and now we're just like talking like we'd just be hanging out. But we had some things that we were going to maybe talk about, but we just have so many good family stories. Like our parents are hilarious. They don't mean to be. I talk about that a lot. But like, so last...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about Dad's tricycle.
Oh, okay.
He wants an electric trike.
Yes, he wants an electric trike.
And he's like, I'm going to take it to the ashes. So the grocery store.
So this morning, was it? No, last night, you're sitting in the chair looking at Dad. You're like, Dad, you can't. Dad, I mean, seriously, how are you going to do that? And so if for the audience, if you guys probably don't know this, but our dad is 82, 83.
I think he's 80.
He's up there. And let's say he didn't age in a way that would be at this time somebody who would want someone that could get on a tricycle at all. Like he doesn't walk. He can barely balance himself like in the house. He like has fallen several times and
he is like literally like he's like a handful when he goes to do something.
It's an ordeal. No, it's weird. He's like a child, you know what I mean? Like the things that he does. But so his fantasy is he thinks he can like, oh, I'm just gonna get an e-bike. And Bash's is like how far? 5 miles?
It's definitely not just a hop, skip, and a jump. It's across a major street. It's like a five lane street. And there's not a crosswalk there.
And he's hunched over. So he can't like he fell at one point, so his spine is curved, so he can't really see very well as he's moving forward.
Yeah.
And so this idea
have that be a reminder to everybody, have good posture.
Exactly.
Posture is important.
And just take care of yourself. I'm learning everything from my dad, like what not to do. But so that was funny because you're just like, Dad, you can't. Like you did no. And I'm like, oh man, he's like bursting Dad's bubble. But no, he's actually being realistic. Like seriously, Dad. So he always comes up with these ideas. Do you remember when he wanted to do the camper?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The plans of the camper. And this was only a few years ago. He had plans to build a camper on the back of the truck, and it was going to be all wood. And the plans were insane. I think he wanted to put like a toilet in there. And all I could think, this was your wedding. Or like he wanted to drive it to your wedding.
Yeah.
Both you and I and Kim and everyone was like, all we could imagine is for one, he can't really see. And then you've got this big Dodge Ram, and then you've got this wooden thing that you made, like this idea of it just like falling over, collapsing.
Oh, I know.
I mean, just like it's so. I just feel like we're always in this like, Dad, no, you can't do that. But we don't also want to. I think that's what keeps him alive.
Yeah,
his dream.
But then when he says stuff like, "Well, I don't want to be stuck inside all the time," I'm like, I get it.
No, I get it. You know, you got to keep dreaming, but at the same time, like, well, Dad, you kind of are limited.
Yeah.
Last night I wanted to get some air because yesterday was a lot of cooking and family, of course, Thanksgiving. So I went and sat on the little patio, and he walks out there, and he just had to tell me this real quick. He goes, you know, my dad once told me, I'm so hungry, I could eat a butthole out of a skunk. So he like walks back in, and I'm like, that's just brilliant. Like, that's all he said.
That's all he said to you. I know.
Like, that's our dad. And I don't know what. But so Kody, you are in. Can we talk about that? We could,
what
your life and
whatever.
Cool, yeah. So you are in audio engineering school right now.
I am.
Although I will say you already knew how to do all this, and
yes,
you are my. You're my engineer for my Kelly Slusher stuff. Like you are my mastering of because I'll record some stuff. But Kody's been around my musical life for, since you were like.
It was definitely like a teenager.
Yeah. When I was in Crash and Brittany, and he's come to, you used to go to our shows. So
I used to roadie the shows.
Yeah. He's seen some crazy cool stuff. And the thing that I learned out recently, which kind of blew my mind, was that so my band, we would record at Inharmonic Studios. I believe it's still there in Sacramento. And it was this really nice recording studio with this was back in the day with like reel to reel. And you paid attention. I was too busy smoking weed, being a prima donna, like just being a little like, I don't know. Like I had some serious attitude adjustments that have happened since then. But I was a little brat. And here you are paying attention to everything.
Oh, yeah. I was eating it up for sure.
That's amazing. I just blew my mind.
It had like there's like an atmosphere that you get in a studio that you can't. I've never felt anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like a creative energy.
Yeah.
Usually when I'm in the studio, I feel like I'm at home. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
And like you kind of took off from that, you know, like you just kind of.
Well, and then there's Scott. Scott was really big into recording.
Yeah.
Scott, he's my late friend Scott, one of my best buddies. We traveled together. We played music together. He played bass. I played guitar. We would record stuff in his garage. And this was back when people were still using Cakewalk. I believe Cakewalk became Sonar, I think.
Okay.
I think it did. Yeah, it became something. But yeah, we were.
You guys recorded my EP.
Yeah.
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 The Lovely Lonely Leave. The Lovely Leave, it's called. Yeah.
Did he do that on a laptop?
I think so. Yeah.
I think he did. I think he had an M-Box and a laptop and then Cubase and then recorded it. Yeah. But there was we started early. Like, I mean, I was like 15, 16 and we were already recording our stuff. Like it was kind of part of learning the instruments. You know what I mean? Like we wanted to capture everything we were doing.
Yeah. Because
what we were doing was weird.
Oh man, my brother is so brilliant. I'm sorry to say that in front of you. That bothers you, but oh my gosh, like a lot of my comedy, even there was a video that you made with, wasn't with Scott, it was with Sean, and it was like they did this like fake interview back.
Oh yeah,
and it was like on VHS tape.
Yeah,
and they showed it to me, and it was ridiculous, but it was so brilliant. I thought it was so funny that just stuck out in my head. That was like a long time ago. You were like maybe out of high school, but it just like stuck out in my head. And then you also you're like, I want to play guitar. You pick a guitar and then you learn you just taught yourself. And I'm like, well, I had to take lessons, but So
I don't recommend that route for everybody because it was frustrating because I ended up quitting at first because I couldn't. But it ended up because of the guitar that we bought. I don't know if anybody out there who's played guitar before, there's a thing called setup, and that's the way the guitar is set up to where it's playable or not. And basically it was not playable. It was it was bad. Yeah,
okay.
But I didn't know, you know what I mean? I thought that was just how guitars work.
Right.
So I put it away, and then I did some research and got some books. Yes, I had to go to the library and get books. That's how old I am.
I went to the card catalog and I opened up the
Yep.
G-U-I. They have something. Oh, Idiot's Guide. Okay, great. Idiot's Guide to Guitar Playing.
Yep. So I looked that up and learned how to. Well, I mean, that's the beauty of it is I learned how to set up a guitar on my own. So at least I learned a skill from it. So.
Oh no, I think that all of your stuff has been amazing.
Yeah.
Like how you just kind of. You kind of went your own way and you kind of did your own thing, and now, which is interesting.
So it's good and bad.
Why?
Well, because it's tricky sometimes to play with other people if you're a self-taught guitar player because you don't have, like, if they
a language.
They spit out theory at you. You're like,
And you're like,
I'm playing A Lydian Dorian, like, you know what I mean, like,
and you're like. Can we just? I gotta go.
Jam?
Can we just jam? Can you shut up with your stupid words? No, I'm not good with that. Like I like I'm a musician in a way of like it's natural. I don't have to be like whatever I don't even know what that was. What you just said with a.
Oh, there's just different modes. There's different modes to be playing.
I don't know that, but
I don't really.
That's kind of funny. You do have some really funny band stories, though.
Yeah. That's the one thing about my guitar playing is it's definitely not conventional. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's great.
Most people like it. So yeah, that story. So I ended up joining a band for like literally only a day, but I tore up their band. I showed up.
Okay.
This is so old. This was probably a newspaper article.
Oh wow! Yeah. So you answered an ad.
They had answered an ad.
Wow.
We were played in a. It was weird because it was like this. It was like this warehouse for slot machines. And like pinball machines.
Was this in Colorado?
No, this is Arizona.
Oh,
this is Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Arizona. So I mean, I don't know, maybe maybe 17, 18, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, I ended up playing with this band, and they I was just bored out of my mind with the stuff they were playing. And so I was like, I got some ideas for some songs. So I started playing ideas for my songs, and the guys in the band, yeah, we like that. I like that. And the singer was like, I don't like that. I don't feel like I can conform to that sound. And he got to the point where he literally walked out of the studio of practice and left the band, because the band is like, well, this is our new sound now.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh!
I ended up changing the sound of the band.
And then the lead singer quits. And then what happens?
We get done, and it's like, see you in a week. I'm like, yeah, I'll see you in a week, and I never. So basically, I showed up, burned the place down, turned around, and left. And that was what it was like. It was ridiculous.
That's hilarious. I mean, I'm sorry for that band, but that's just funny. You didn't even mean to. You're like, I'm bored. Let's destroy a band. Let's just kill the ego of this lead singer who's, thought he was all that. Now
I've had that comment a lot from people where it was like, oh, I like what you're playing, but I don't know exactly how to jive along with it. It was always hard getting singers with Wake the Pilot, and never Wake the Pilot, which I'm still doing Wake the Pilot. That band, we struggled to get a singer. I feel like maybe it's because sometimes I write stuff where I don't leave room for singers, but I don't know. It was tricky.
Some of your stuff does kind of have a soundtracky kind of thing. Anytime I hear anything that you post and stuff, it's really pretty. Like what you were playing last night. Dadgad
tuning.
Dadgad. I never had played in that tuning. Kody tuned it, and I was like, "Ooh, this is fun." Alternative tunings. Whole other world. But that could be why. I don't know. But maybe it's so. Do you like the Denver music scene? I mean, do you?
Yeah, it's not bad. We've been to. I probably haven't been to enough shows, but the shows that I've been to, the clubs are
they're cool. Okay.
Good scene. I actually went to, believe it or not, a hip hop show about a month ago. The reason I went was because my mentor at where I'm going to training, and he was DJing there.
Oh, so cool.
It was a hip hop show.
Cool. So maybe you wouldn't have normally gone, and and then you're like, wait, this is good.
I appreciate some of it. Even he said some of it's what's the point? Literally, they're just sitting there talking on the microphone.
Yeah.
And they have backing tracks.
Yeah.
And they're not doing anything.
Yeah. It's kind of funny when you're a musician and you put so much into it, and then you see these people and they go up there and it's all pre-recorded or whatever. Yeah. Sometimes it's but sometimes they're legit really great rappers. But if they're not, it's kind of
there was a couple of good ones. They had this one guy, his name was Ego and Friends. He actually looped his guitar and sang over his guitar.
Cool.
Yeah, that was really neat. But then we left early because the closing artist was literally all he did was just go, yeah, uh-huh.
You're I gotta go. Yeah.
I don't understand it. I just don't. Yeah. But you know what? Being in this recording program, I'm having to be more open-minded. Yeah, because the clients come in and there's so much hip hop. Yeah. Because it's easy. It's really, 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 really what's the word? Attainable to have a setup for hip hop, because you just need a microphone. Yeah. You just need a beat program.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times you're going to have people come in there, they're just going to ask you one question. Hey man, you got the auto-tune? You got that auto-tune? Of course we got that auto-tune. What do you think?
Makes it yeah. I think that sounds kind of cool. But when
there are cool things you can do with auto-tune. You can make auto-tune musical. It doesn't have to be all sounding like T-Pain.
Yeah.
Where it's just like,
I just think the redundancy of it, right? You know what I mean? Like you could get a lot of that, and then you can also be getting a lot of bands that are kind of mediocre, and then you might be doing a lot of that, but that's part of being an audio engineer, you know?
Yeah, you have to, so when it comes to like stuff like that, you have to make the choice, like, is their performance strong enough to sit on its own, or do you need to cradle that a little bit?
Oh, really?
And add a little bit of tuning to it. Like,
what if you turn to be like, this sucks?
Yeah, right. I know. It stinks.
I've done everything I can, but you're just a really bad songwriter, and that guitar playing, dude. You can never do that, but it'd be kind of funny. Like, I don't know how people do it. You have to sit through hours of that.
Oh, it's hard.
And then you have to like make it sound good, and you have to, but it's better than, not doing it, I guess. I mean, it's just,
yeah.
And maybe you get to the point where you build up your clientele, and so it's just people more liking what you do, and they come to you, and, rather than, you're open for business, and we got Kody. He's our latest. What's the studio that you?
It's called Conway Sound.
Okay.
And it's in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, which is a suburb of Denver.
I'm looking forward to coming out there and hopefully recording in that studio. That'd be so amazing.
Yes.
Okay, you've got other really good stories like jobs.
Oh, right.
Kody, I don't know. You're like one of those people. You just walk outside and like.
So okay,
funny happens.
I had this job. I called it my beep and fly box because it was always had flies. Every time somebody was at the register,
it was a gas station.
At the gas station. Every time someone was at
you worked at the Island.
The Island gas station. Yeah, but so I used to get really bored, and what I would do is. This is ridiculous and like totally illegal to do. But what I would do is I would take scratch tickets.
Oh, no.
And I would play them.
Kody.
And I would ring them up. But what I would do is not ring them up as in like they were being sold. Ring them up like one big sell and then win enough to pay it back. So basically the whole night.
You were actually not stealing. You were just like, you kept scratching and be like, okay, got another $1. Okay, got another $2.
No, seriously. And like it for some reason, I'd always luck out and it'd balance out. But it was to be funny because like the next day the boss would be like, wow, you sold a lot of scratch tickets last night. I'm like, wow, it was quite a run. But that's what I did. That's what I did to entertain myself when it got so boring. So
wow.
Yeah.
And I remember you calling. Wait, how did I know about that? Because I don't know when that was, but I remember you telling me. Maybe you're just telling me about it, but you're like, oh, it was just.
I got stuck there when we had a blizzard.
Oh, you got stuck in your beeping fly box?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, like I had to shut down it was so bad. Like that was a snowstorm where it hit like 4 feet in some places.
Oh my gosh.
It was insane. Yeah, it like shut down the whole city. That was in Fort Collins.
Okay.
So for everybody out there, I moved from Mesa, Arizona to Fort Collins in 2001. So that's where I lived. Fort Collins is a college town. I still like it. I like to visit my friends. I got a lot of friends there. Pretty cool music scene. My band would play shows there regularly. I definitely like Fort Collins, but it's been everything. Well, everything's expensive everywhere, but Fort Collins was getting ridiculous. Like rent was just
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So much. It's I hate to use the G word, but it's very gentrified.
Well, that's kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the G word? It's very. What about? Didn't you have like a car with like a loud muffler that was so loud that?
Oh yeah.
It was so loud.
So I still have that car.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So 2005 Audi A4 2.0 turbo, and if anybody's out there who's a car enthusiast, it's a fun car to drive because I have it tuned for performance, and it's got like an exhaust system. But when I first had it, I did it myself. And literally, I just pulled the whole entire exhaust system out and put like a single pipe underneath the car, and decided that that was good enough, that I'd be comfortable doing that. Didn't think about how loud it would be. I drove it from Colorado, from Fort Collins to Arizona, and it was so bad. I would stop at gas stations and get out of the car and be having to like yell at the guy, and I couldn't understand him. I couldn't hear him. I'd be like, "What? I've been in the loudest car ever." I remember going to like I pulled into a drive-through, and I apologized.
Car ever.
I know.
It must have been like.
It was bad. It was funny because there was two people hanging their head out the window looking around, and one guy was like, to the lady, I was like, "I'm sorry about how loud my car is," and the guy was like, "It's music to my ears." He's like, he thought it was cool. Yeah, he liked how loud.
Okay.
Some people.
I think it's like really. It takes a lot of courage to be like, you know what? This is the loudest car ever, but I'm going to go through the drive-thru. What can I get for you? What? What can I get for you? I'm sorry, I can't hear what you're saying.
It was bad. No, I think I actually turned the car off when I was ordering. But it was the kind of loud where when you started it up, like it would startle people, it would scare people. They would all like, "Huh, what was that?" But yeah, no more of that. I finally upgraded to a professional system, and now it's tame. Yeah.
But speaking of drive-thrus, you do have a really another one with your car with smoke so bad.
Oh. Yeah, like when it burned oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was so smoky that you went through the drive-thru and you couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't see the person.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That was true. That's. See, that's common in Arizona, though, to have a car that smokes.
Really?
Well, because head gaskets blow all the time, and you always have burning oil on cars, and they're always overheating.
It's hot here.
Yeah. And I think that's the problem I had. But what I think is a funnier story was when I had it wasn't a faulty clutch, but sometimes when you pressed it in, it wouldn't engage right away, and it would catch, and then you would drive, and you would kind of like lurch forward. Well, I was in the drive-thru, and it did that, and then the lady was holding the food out the window, and I just drove on by. But I went like four car lengths forward. Yeah, it was crazy. And then I had to back up and oh yeah, that's my food. Thank you.
Wow, yeah, I forgot what I was doing. I'm not insane.
And I had mom and dad were like, so they were not the kind of parents that gave you a car when you turned.
No, they
16.
made me buy mine.
I had to buy mine too.
Yeah.
I bought a old Oldsmobile 98 Regency, and it was a V8 that only ran on 6 cylinders. So it was going clunk, 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 clunk.
Oh man!
I used to take that thing on the highway, and I don't know if anybody knows, but the highways here are really, really big. They're like 5-6 lanes, and that thing would it would die as I was driving it, and you would lose your power steering.
God! Oh my gosh! They let you drive that?
Yeah.
I can't believe that's so funny. I mean, awful at the same time. Yeah. I had to buy I bought this 1978 orange Toyota Corolla that would always overheat. And it was
Corolla.
Black leather seats, no AC in Arizona summers. It was insane.
Oh, yeah.
How did I not have but I guess when you're 16, I had a car. I didn't care.
Yeah.
And we'd go to 7-Eleven or no, Circle K and always get the ices or slushies, whatever they were called. And that saved me. All right, Kody, we've talked so much about cars and stuff and all your funny adventures. Do you mind some of these really funny stories with our mother is just very, religious and naive, I would say. And so Kody, being a teenager boy, got into some stuff. Do you mind talking about that?
It's fine.
Okay. All right. So you want to tell us the story about the...
Oh, yeah. Boy. So we, me and my friend Jason, we used to have, I don't know how we got a hold of them. I can't remember. I don't know if we like bought them or like found, I think we found them in the desert. We found adult magazines out in the desert in like a fort.
Oh, you must have been like, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah. I was craving it. We ended up we ended up taking them, and then I'm like, okay, you gotta hide them, and I gotta hide them. So for some reason, my closet had like a trap, like a false wall. It had like a hole. Yeah, and I shoved them in there. And I was like rifling through them, and I heard Mom coming, and I dropped one. Oh my! That's how she ended up finding it. Is because I ended up dropping one on the ground.
Oh, so you didn't know? Were you there with her as she found it?
I can't remember, but I remember her being like, Kody, come in here.
She didn't tell me that. She said that
maybe my story's a little bit off.
She said that you stuck it under the bathroom mat, and she takes the bathroom mat because it's like a crazy cleaner. Like she moves so then like she said she found a magazine and she goes, there were women doing things to each other that I didn't even know existed. Found that thing.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So that was the next thing that happened is, okay, so I was found out, busted, that had to like take them all out of there, put them in a crate, and light them on fire and like an effigy and watch them burn.
Did you?
No, I had to do that, and my dad was like, well, you see the way it burns? You see the color of the flame? That's because of the devils in there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But you know, we still had some in the desert. They're probably still there.
Well, they're probably torn down now because they built all these structures everywhere around here. Wow, Kody, thanks for sharing your stories. They were amazing. I'm sure you'll be back with more stories, and maybe you can just co-host with me and, you know, more in the future. We don't live in the same state, so it's a little bit harder. I'm still trying to figure out how to interview people like this, because right now we're in person. It's amazing, but there will be other ways, of course. I just have to do my own setup in my back end to kind of figure out how I can do it. But we do have this like phone app thing if I ever want to have you back and we're not in the same location. But thank you, Kody. Like it's like we're at the...
Oh, and be on the lookout because eventually Kelly and I are going to collaborate on some music. So
yes,
we've been talking about that.
I know we've been talking about that for a long time, and
like stop. What is there stopping us? Like, there's no reason to do it. Yeah, I know.
Nothing stops me. You know that.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like the bullet. I'm like the trigger. Someone called me the trigger once.
I've been bad about being motivated. Like, motivated. Yeah.
I know. I'm glad that you're even on this podcast because I was like, I know he'll do it.
So can I say one more thing?
Yeah, say it.
To everybody out there who suffers with anxiety and depression, I just want to tell everybody that like it can get better. There are ways to do things. Talk to people, communicate. Because like I'm finding the more that I shut myself off, the worse it gets. Yeah.
So Kody struggles with a lot of anxiety.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been your biggest, I think, obstacle in life. Like just anxious and I don't know exactly what it's like, what you've gone through, but I know
here's the thing is I get anxious talking to therapists and psychiatrists for some reason, like because I'm afraid of people's. They're judging me.
Yeah.
I mean, aren't they kind of supposed to be judging me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not in like a negative way, but they're supposed to really look at be able to analyze your situation. But that has been your obstacle. But doesn't it feel good to just like do it anyway?
Yeah.
Like feel the fear and do it anyway. That's my motto. Like I might be anxious about it, but I do it.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of you for, kind of pushing yourself, because I wasn't sure if you were going to have anxiety and not want to sit down with me and just talk to me, you know.
I'm a little anxious.
You did it. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So,
thank you.
Yeah. So anything else?
I mean, I stories seem to come
Where
out
can
of
they
the
find
blue.
you? Do you want to talk about that? Like, if does anyone, you
yeah.
can, if you want. I mean, it's public. You may not want to, but your band is Wake the Pilot.
Wake the Pilot. You can find it on all the things. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on Google Play. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on Deezer. All of the stuff. So that's Wake the Pilot. Three words there. Some of it's instrumental, and some of it's got vocalists on it. It's something that I'm still working on, like occasionally, not a lot.
It's not. But you've done that project for so long.
Yeah.
And then you're Kody Slusher, and so you can follow Kody
Yeah.
on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And if you're in
Kody with a K.
Kody with a K, and if you want to record with Kody, you're going to be you're in the Denver area.
Yes. Yeah. You could hit me up on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, he's very good. He does my Kelly Slusher stuff.
Yep.
So I've been working with him, and he's really intuitive. So
yeah,
with his recording,
I definitely have a good ear for mastering because people hate mastering a lot of times.
Yeah, he's a great master.
So I can definitely.
He's kind of like a master. He's a master of mastering.
Master of mastering.
Yeah, and you actually provide a really good mastering rate, actually, for considering what some people charge. I mean, I
don't even know what I'm charging.
Yeah,
anymore.
but I'm just
I don't
saying,
even
like,
say.
yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you're fair and you're not like, and you're really good.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Yep, I got a good setup for that. So, that is where my it's Cubase. If anybody out there uses like programs out there, there's Pro Tools, Cubase, and right now I'm learning Pro Tools, and it's frustrating me. So that was part of the problem we were having with this recording. Actually, was getting the proper software. But I'm going to give a shout out to Reaper because we're using Reaper right now.
Reaper worked for us,
and it was free, and it's working. And
gave us some latency issues, but you know what? It's fine. It worked.
Yeah, but that could be my laptop settings too. So anyway, but
thank you, Kody. Yeah, we're gonna sign off because we're getting a little. It's fine. We're going over my normal time. Anyway, thank you, Kody.
Thank you.
You did a really good job. I'm so glad. So my first guest, Kody Slusher. Yay! Okay, you guys. Thanks for listening, and see you later. Hear you later. Smell you later. All right. Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.